am your host, Cobra, your MC for tonight, and I am joined into the ring by Kat and Ricky. Say hello, everyone.
How's it
Oh, hello.
going?
It's great to see everyone once again. Um, for those who have missed us, or particularly me, as far as in the ring, we have essentially rebranded into the Handed Down Beatdown from the Social Slam podcast. So again, glad you're joining us from there. But we had a lot of time to really dissect and digest what had been going on in Saudi Arabia, primarily uh, King of the Ring, and Night of Champions. As we know, yep, as we know, John Cena is still the champion. He had to deal. He has been dealing, not dealing, but he's still holding on to it as best as he can. And Jamie has arrived. Welcome to the ring, Jamie.
What's going on, brother?
Not much, not much. Um, so we had we definitely have a pretty big issue over Saudi Arabia. Obviously, with what's going on. But I want to first talk to Ricky first. Do we feel like the Saudi Arabia PLEs? Do we feel like they've been a big waste of time? Ever since Crown Jewel was first started, like that's the big thing I gotta take away from this. It just seems like Saudi Arabia is cursed when it comes to WWE.
Yeah, I think so. First of all, they shouldn't have been over there because of what's going on. They should move it somewhere else, like Australia or something, or just in states or whatever to meet the rest of the states. But I think ever since the Crown Jewel, I think it's been not very great over there.
Yeah, and not just I wasn't just saying that because of the current conflicts going on in the Middle East. I'm just saying that because the product in the ring has been middling.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like the wrestling product, the wrestlers are bad. It's that I think that and I also don't think that the culture around the product is bad either. I just think that there is a lot of pressure in in and around Saudi Arabia. And again, I'm not getting political here, but it's like it is not really a well-known wrestling market, especially for the women. And the women's division has been heating up very strongly ever since the four horsewoman dynamic. Ever since they strayed away from the divas.
yeah.
That's my big takeaway. It's almost like they're under a huge microscope. Jamie, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, I'll let Kat go. She's been waving her hand profusely, wanting to chime in, so I'll let her go first.
Go ahead, Kat.
Um, there was a guy in another group that I'm in who basically said, Saudi is now a house show. Saudi is now
Yes.
a televised
Yes.
house show. And how much money is it costing to fly these guys and women over there? The women are having to wrestle in stuff that they've never wrestled in before. And it was one thing when they went over there and they were first able to wrestle over there. And it was a whole big deal because they were making strides for women and all this other stuff. But they still have to cover up from head to toe. This is a product that these people are able to watch all the time. Like, from my understanding, they're still able to see these women wrestling in their regular gear And then they come to Saudi Arabia. It's supposed to be this whole special show, and all the women are covered up from head to toe. Like,
It's a different one. It's a difference of culture. I understand that. And I think all of us can understand that the culture in Saudi Arabia is very
I get that.
um,
I get
yes.
that. But when they're able to watch it on TV anyway, they're able to see these women in their regular
Well,
outfits.
let me chime in there. There's a difference between watching something in TV and something being performed in your homeland.
Yes.
Just because
There
they can
is.
see it on TV does not give WWE the right to overstep the cultural implications and rule sets that are in
Correct.
effect with Saudi Arabia.
Correct.
My
Correct.
other thing with them going to Saudi Arabia in the first place is that they're almost, I'm gonna get so much hate for this. They're almost encouraging this treatment of the women by saying, "Hey, you're gonna go with us to Saudi Arabia, but you know, because of the culture over there, you know, you have to dress a certain way." And I get it. I do. The whole culture thing, but um it's more than a cultural thing. This is like literally it's like the 1940s for women over there. And
No, it's a little further than that. But at the same time, Mohammed bin Salman is writing the blood money check. Um, so
yes,
Triple H TKO. They could have they definitely don't care that it's like an old school WWF in your house event. They don't care. As long as the blood money is flowing in, they could bring out famous racist Hulk Hogan out of retirement, bring in the old red and yellow. He'll be out there. He'll be out there with a shovel and try to dig up Randy Savage's corpse so he can have a wrestling match.
that would be interesting. Very,
Yeah.
very interesting.
It would be. It would be. But of course, we know that ain't gonna happen. So let's we're keeping with Saudi Arabia. Well, not necessarily the behind the scenes product, but with John Cena and CM Punk having their match at Night of Champions. I thought this was a pretty interesting match. I think it was definitely something that the John Cena still got away with the win. I think his heel turn is still gonna go strong, gonna go smooth. I think it's still working. But the question is, who's his next opponent? You've already run through the gamut of his old heads. Who do you think his next opponent is going to be? Ricky first, then Kat, then Jamie.
I think it'd be Drew McIntyre.
Ooh, interesting. Any explanation why you think it'd be Drew McIntyre?
Well, Drew McIntyre had a good feud with Randy Orton, so I think Drew McIntyre, if he wants to beat the best, he should beat the best with John Cena.
That is very true. Kat.
I haven't given this much thought, but isn't there something with like the bloodline storyline coming back in? I feel like Cena's gonna. I feel like somehow all of the storylines are gonna like intertwine with each other, and he's gonna like not join with Solo or Jacob, but
Now, I understand. I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this. But as far as the bloodline is concerned, the bloodline is technically destroyed and dissolved. Thanks to Jacob. Thanks to Jacob Fatu.
Technically.
So
Technically.
yes, but so it's going to be renamed. But I do not think that the Bloodline and John Cena will cross paths ever in this retirement tour of John Cena's.
I don't know.
But-
I feel like at some point he's got to face Roman, right?
And that is a possibility. That is a possibility, especially with Roman being a part timer. That is a possibility.
I mean, he's faced all the, guys he's had beef with before who are still wrestling. So I feel like at this point, to pass the torch, he's going to need to, Drew McIntyre is a great idea. I'm not sure the writers are going to be that creative, but Drew McIntyre, Gunther would be a really cool one.
Gunther would be good.
Just like a passing the torch kind of thing.
There are a couple of old wrestlers he could bring in, but I'll tell you that when it's my turn. Jamie, you still with us, buddy?
Yes. So, does anybody know how the date count that John Cena has?
I do not know the exact day.
I said this rhetorical. I know this. He has 15 dates left.
Yeah.
So between all through the summer, all the way up till December, he only has 15 days left that he's committed to.
Right.
So here is where I think things are going. He's going to drop the belt to Cody at SummerSlam. He's going to.
That's a hot take, man. That's a hot take. I don't think so.
He's going to disappear. He's going to disappear for a little bit, and then he is going to ramp up right towards the end, and he is going to have the feud of feuds with either a Roman, with either a Gunther, whoever he wants to be his final full-on story mode.
But you don't think he's going to have a title to do that with?
He doesn't need a title.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
But remember what he said. He was doing what's good for business. Now he's doing what's good for John.
Yeah, so he doesn't need the title to continue his heel treatment. So hear me out. Hear me out. Hold on. Hear me out.
Okay.
He drops the belt to Cody at SummerSlam. He goes away for a little bit. Who is the one person that has been missing for almost a year?
The Rock. The Rock.
Hasn't he been filming something?
The catalyst, the catalyst to this whole heel Cena turn is going to come full circle. The Rock is going to be out there trying his darnest to get Cody, to get him to continue to make that choice to be heel Cody, and you're going to get a final bout on his last match of Rock Cena.
Let me interject. So you're not wrong, but I don't think he loses the belt at SummerSlam. I think he loses the belt at Survivor Series. And let me explain. I think John Cena loses the belt at Survivor Series in a classic Survivor Series match. Basically, he puts the belt on the line against Team Cody Rhodes. Because Cody Rhodes will have a team of 5. John Cena will have a team of 5 himself. This is what I'm thinking. I know my brother Ricky wants to chime in because he's probably hearing what I got to say. But here's what I think is going to happen. So, Team Cody Rhodes will consist of, obviously, Cody Rhodes, L.A. Knight. Yeah! Got to have L.A. Knight in there.
Absolutely.
We're going to have, in the third slot, interestingly enough, Rusev. That would be interesting. Rusev in the third spot, being a wild card, if that makes sense. Hold on. Then you have Randy Orton and CM Punk. There you go. On Team Cena, you have John Cena, you have The Rock, you have Seth Rollins, you have Braun Breaker, and you have in their wild card, Gunther. There you go. It'll then be booked as a 2-on-1. John Cena and The Rock. Cody Rhodes is the last one. There is a classic miscommunication. The Rock wants to beat on Cody Rhodes some more. John Cena just says, end it. There's a miscue. There's a fight. All of a sudden, you get a small package on The Rock. 1-on-1, John Cena, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes beats John Cena for the title. And in the December PLE, John Cena versus The Rock 3, Electric Boogaloo.
I as cool as that would sound, there is not enough creative minds to keep this Cena Cody story going all the way to Survivor Series. Not without a change of belt.
I disagree.
I disagree. The belt for how long? And we had the same storyline with the Bloodline over and over and over again. And then it was the Bloodline 2.0.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre has a very interesting dynamic with Cody.
I feel like he has an interesting dynamic with almost everyone.
For the most part, he's like that douchebag that's right. He tells you like it is. You may not like the way he says it, but it's the truth. And that's Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
They need a spark because John Cena's reign right now. Well, how would you grade his title reign right now? How would you grade it?
Let's not only grade it for just Kat, let's just do it for all of us. How would we grade John Cena's? And we're going to start with Kat, then Ricky, then myself. You asked the question, Jamie.
I always have to go first.
He asked you. That's why.
That's why. I'm gonna give him a B-. And honestly, he's kind of handling this title reign the way that Roman Reigns did. He shows up at special events. He's not coming to all the weekly shows. When he does show up, he's furthering his storyline. I still think we get a face turn from Cena before he retires.
All right, Ricky.
A.
An A.
How would you? You're grading it an A. I want to hear this. Give me your reason.
John Cena reminds me of the '90s version of Hollywood Hogan.
True.
How Hollywood Hogan was. He was the main attraction, and he didn't give a crap what people thought. That's what John Cena is. I think they're treating him like Hollywood Hogan in the new era of Hollywood Hogan.
But what about it makes it an A? That's what I'm trying to get out of you.
Why makes it an A? Well, he cheats. Like we never seen him cheat before. He kind of everything he says, he does. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I like
all right.
So the follow through. The follow through.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of go in the middle. I'm going to, Kat graded it a B-. Ricky gave it an A. I'm giving it a solid B. And my reasoning for it being a solid B is, as Ricky did hit the nail on the head that this heel turn reminds me of '96 Hulk Hogan turning into Hollywood Hogan. However, however, the booking hasn't been as atrocious. Hollywood wins. Lol. I will say that. But I do also say that it almost seems like a lot of the opponents that John Cena is facing is too familiar. Like these are opponents that he has faced before. That these are basically he's going through his greatest hits is what I'm saying. Not that his greatest hits aren't bad per se because the matches have been quality. But it's almost like, all right, you face Randy Orton, you face CM Punk. Why haven't you faced any of the new blood yet? I mean, like I said, there's Braun Breaker who's itching for it. There's a lot of there's Gunther. Gunther just lost the title. Dominic Mysterio would be one. Penta, would be an interesting opponent against him. Heck, even
I feel like he wants matches that make sense. I don't think Dom would make a whole lot of sense. Dom has this whole Dom is again
a match with Dom. I'm not saying he has to win the title, but a match.
But Dom is he's very upper mid card. Like we need the talented mid card, right? We need that, and I think Dom is one of those people.
Yeah,
I want to see him in the ring with the Miz. I'd love to see him with the Miz and R-Truth.
The Miz unfortunately is doing a thing with American Gladiators. He is unavailable.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Also, I did not. Also, I'm going to say this only. This is a hot take. I did not think that famous Japanese tourist Logan Paul deserved to be with John Cena as his tag team partner.
I don't like Logan Paul
before we go
as
off
a
on a
wrestler.
tangent, before we go off on a tangent, because I was talking about that too.
Jamie's like, let's keep it.
Oh no, he mentioned something that I wanted to. It actually goes to my point. So you gave it a solid B. I heard an A, and I heard a B.
That was Ricky. Cat was B minus.
I give it a C plus.
Let's hear it, Jamie.
And so, Cobra, you talked about it is the John Cena's greatest hits album.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's too familiar. Unfortunately, not to any discredit to the opponents that he's had. They put on good matches, but the booking and the timeline of trying to create the type of impact that you would want in a greatest hits album is too jam packed. There's no time for them to create the story to where you are invested. It is just the same storyline, just reversed. Now John Cena is the bad guy. He hasn't gone up against any younger or newer talent. I mean, I don't care if we knew they were already going to lose. Like, I would love to see a John Cena versus a Jacob Fatu, or a John Cena versus an LA Knight,
or Braun Breaker, or
Braun Breaker's on the wrong show. Braun Breaker's on the wrong
show. Or here's this wild card: an up and coming luchador that is absolutely tearing it up right now, El Grande Americano.
I thought you were going to say Penta.
Americano is Chad Gable.
As of right now, it's actually being portrayed by Ludwig Kaiser.
Everybody knows he's Chad Gable, the original.
Yeah, Chad Gable is the original, but Ludwig Kaiser is currently holding on to the mantle of El Grande Americano as of right now.
But as to what I was going to say, though, the main factor that makes it a C plus instead of a solid B or maybe even a B plus, outside of all of that, this heel turn is not working. No matter where he goes, he is getting cheered. He is still the very same reaction that we're getting of John Cena week in, week out for his entire career.
But here's the thing. Roman Reigns had a heel turn. He got cheered every time, too. The only people that I can remember... Okay, so I was at one of the Monday Night Raws after Dom turned on Ray.
Mm-hmm. Lucky.
Nobody, it was really cool. Nobody told us to do this that I know of, but every time Dom put the mic up to his mouth, we booed so loud, he didn't get a chance to talk.
Yeah.
Like none of us cared what he had to say. John Cena, though, we're all like, what's he gonna say next? What's John gonna say next? And we all want to know. Roman Reigns.
The problem. The difference
The
between Roman Reigns and John Cena is John Cena is not doing authentic John Cena heel stuff. He is just doing cookie cutter heel monologue.
Well,
he
blaming fans.
wanted to turn heel like 20 years ago.
Hey,
Jason,
Ricky. Yeah, let me say this. Ricky kind of hit the nail on the head in a way. You know, this definitely does remind me of Hollywood Hogan. However, and that this is all becoming just a little bit too. This is not turning out well. If that makes sense, like when Hollywood Hogan had his heel run, in the NWO, his opponents, a lot of them, you had Randy Savage, you had Lex Luger, you had the Giant, you had Roddy Piper came in. There was like a few of you had a few bad opponents. Like he would, and like a lot of like he would. It didn't take until after like his run, his '97 Starrcade, that he started to wrestle different opponents. That the formula started to change.
I feel like with Cena having a year, he has had to fast forward.
I also think that's the reason why he's not generating that heel heat. It is because we know we know he's going. We know he's going to go.
Right.
So we're cheering because one, we're liking where it's going, and two, we know that in about a few months from now, literally a few months from now, we got about 5 months left in this year. We've got 5 months left in this year. So in 5 months, we just know that after this is all said and done, that this will probably be standing up at his last match. We'll be cheering the heel run because it was great. It was what he could give us. It was what he could give us.
It won't be us cheering the heel run. It will just be us cheering the celebration of a career. And that's the problem with this heel turn. No matter where you go, it's their last opportunity to see John Cena. They're going to let him feel the appreciation of all the years that he's been in, no matter if he's the good guy or the bad guy. It's like Dale Earnhardt in the world of NASCAR. It's like Tom Brady in the world of football. No matter where you go.
The Undertaker tried to turn heel. Like he couldn't.
Yeah.
No. Undertaker could. But it's still the Undertaker.
Yeah, it takes a long time. Correct.
For the Undertaker to be taken seriously as a heel, because everybody was like, "It's the Undertaker."
Right.
Although he started as a heel. Go ahead, Ricky.
Like I said, as
Stone Cold couldn't turn heel because fans love him too much.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's what I was saying. When you pinpoint the literal goats of any other sport, Tom Brady's last year, throughout
Wayne Gretzky's last year.
Wayne Gretzky's last year. Dale Earnhardt, going in like his entire career, he was loved and hated all around.
Yeah,
you can't have a grade A heel run when you are the GOAT and you have openly said this is your last year and these are the amount of dates I have left.
Yeah, that's why
at the very end, when everything is said and done, he is going to be on the face side because that is the ribbon on top of this entire story where he comes back around and he says, "Bask in my glory. I want to thank you. You can thank me. Let's have a party. I'm calling you clear. Thank you very much."
Right. It's like Pete Weber in bowling. Pete Weber. One of the most heelish people you could possibly bowl against. And now that his career has ended in the PBA, he's bowling the senior tour. But everyone looks back like, dude, he kind of single handedly saved bowling by making people hate him.
The heel of bowling. I never thought I'd hear that sentence.
Seriously, look at Pete Weber. Just look at Pete Weber's entire career.
It makes sense. It makes sense. But I feel like all of that has played a part in how this has gone. But Cena wanted to turn heel, but it wasn't good for business, so he didn't.
Right.
He never really did. So I feel like this is like his last chance to turn heel, maybe to tie up some of those like old storylines. Maybe that's why he's going through this the way that he is. But I think the next phase is the passing the torch phase, when he faces some of these younger guys and he says, you know what, I'm going to face these younger guys. I'm going to put over the guys who I think deserve to be put over. And I think that's how the next 5 months are going to go. I can't believe it's only 15 more appearances.
That's also probably why the main reason he brought over famous Japanese tourist Logan Paul as his tag team partner.
Probably because everybody hates Logan Paul.
Yes,
I don't
exactly.
know a single person.
And we keep referencing NWO Hogan. We keep referencing NWO Hogan.
Yes.
NWO Hogan had a crew around him that helped with the heat. Who better to have around you than Logan Paul?
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know anybody who likes Logan Paul. Like, they might like Logan Paul. They don't like Logan Paul in the WWE.
All right. Speaking of passing the torch, there's a pretty interesting rumor going around in All Elite Wrestling. Yes, All Elite Wrestling is still producing wrestling. Interestingly enough, but apparently, apparently AEW is in Texas as of this week, and so it is rumored that the icon, the legend, Sting, will make one final appearance in AEW to join Darby Allin. Not in the ring. It'll probably be like a manager role.
Okay.
But yeah, because he's done in the ring. Sting is done in the ring. But of course he is. He's 60. He's 60. He's 66.
And he's got more sense than Ric Flair.
Yes. He had his great retirement match with his kids. Why not? Why step back in the ring? To wrestle again. He could be a manager role, or hey, this could be like the debut of his son in the ring. Who knows? Like his son Steven. His son Steven is training, so that would make sense. Well. We do have to kind of wrap this up a little bit.
Jamie has a thought.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Think of?
I know you're trying to wrap it up, but AEW just had their 300th episode, so I just thought it would be neat if we could talk about like what has like there's AEW has been up and down, and they're on the backup swing again. But what would you say is your favorite moment in AEW in their 300 episodes?
So yeah, before I give mine, Ricky, Kat, if you guys have watched AEW, I want you guys to chime in first. Start with Ricky first.
What's the best moment in AEW is when Jon Moxley showed up on that pay-per-view in Las Vegas. I think that's the best
nice.
one
ever. That was a great moment.
All right. What about you, Kat? Have you watched AEW?
I have, much to the chagrin of some of my fantasy wrestling buddies. Honestly, when Cody and Dustin got to wrestle, that was one of those moments. Like, kayfabe didn't exist. We could all kind of look behind the curtain a little bit, and you know, it was a moment. It was a moment. It wasn't just a match. It wasn't just like, oh, this is two brothers. Like, it was a moment in AEW history.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, I gotta say it. For me, it was the Brody Lee tribute show.
Yeah.
Like that was not only peak booking, but it was peak storytelling as well. You could tell that the Dark Order needed that. The Dark Order haven't been the same since the passing of the Exalted One, Brody Lee. It's also nice of Tony Khan to give Brody's son a contract for wrestling, which was nice. I do hope, and I think that he will follow through with that contract, no matter how his career ends up.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, but the Brody Lee tribute show, I think, was peak AEW.
Yes,
for sure.
Honorable mention goes to Sting coming back to the ring, because I am a lifetime Sting fan. I will have no argument. Sting is on my Mount Rushmore. Sting was my first action figure. Sting was the first wrestler I could name. Sting was the first wrestler I fell in love with. And I thought Sting's career was done at Night of Champions. I was mad at Seth Rollins. I thought he ruined it. I thought he ruined my favorite wrestler's career. Because I wanted
millions of other people.
Yep. I was so mad. Go ahead, Ricky.
So who's your guys' Mount Rushmore wrestler? Who's your...
All right. That'll
we need another hour for that one.
I don't think so. I think a lot of us can name our Mount Rushmore immediately.
Before I had to eat dinner, but my top 5 is Ric Flair, of course. Goldberg.
Okay.
Bret Hart would like a word with you about that.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, and Ricky Steamboat.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. For
Isn't our
me,
Mount Rushmore 4? I thought it was 4, not 5.
Hey, the fifth person can be the guy. The fifth person can be the guy carving the people into rocks. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, because this is how I'm going to do it. So my Mount Rushmore, I have Sting, obviously, Randy Savage, Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the person finishing up the details on Randy Savage's beard, DDP.
Cat.
There's a special reason for DDP. I'll get to it another show.
Undertaker.
Nice.
Dusty Rhodes. Like
nice.
Dad, Dusty.
You can't. I'm sorry. You just can't. Dusty is, he's one of the greats. That's what I mean. You can't knock Dusty. No one can knock Dusty.
No. Macho Man.
Oh yeah.
Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Not a lot of people mention the ladies. I really like Becky.
No, because to be fair, the ladies deserve their own Mount Rushmore. To be fair.
Well, yeah, but also
nowadays, the ladies nowadays deserve their own mountaintop. Nowadays.
Gosh, and a fifth one.
Just a one like carving, helping to carve it in.
Carving everybody in. Well, gosh, then Paul Heyman.
Hey, that's good. That's very good. Jamie.
All right. So the problem with Mount Rushmores is there has to be a specific guideline to create that Mount Rushmore. But if we're just going off of just who you like, who has impacted the most, then here's how mine would go. Now, obviously, we can save it for another show if we want to be more specific. But number 1, John Cena.
Nice.
Number 2, Bruno Sammartino.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, as much as we don't like him now, Hulk Hogan.
Famous Union Buster racist Hulk Hogan.
I get that.
And then number 5, Ric Flair. When you look at the names that are names above all names, it's those 5. So
I will say this: our next episode, which is in 2 weeks, because this is a bi-weekly podcast. So 2 weeks. Our next podcast will be our Mount Rushmores. Men's, women's, tag teams, managers.
Oh.
Yep. That definitely give us a homework assignment right there. Symbol of I'm flashing the symbol of excellence. Symbol of excellence.
When we say
because
are we doing like high flyers? Are we doing heavyweights? What are we doing?
Men's as far as all-timers. Men's all-timers, women's all-timers, tag team all-timers, manager all-timers, and you know what? I'm going to throw in a 5th here. Factions.
You're going to have to send that in a text because that's going to take some...
I will post it. I will post it in the chat. All right. So we're going to wrap this up here. I want to remind everyone that our affiliate for tonight is Raw Nutrition. Right now, Raw Nutrition is currently having a buy one get one free 50% off all week long this week. I use Raw Nutrition primarily with their protein, with their isolate protein. It's very good protein. They also have Bum Energy as well. Very new flavors, including cola. So a very interesting spiked energy for you if you want. And like I said, they also have creatine. They have other supplements for your gym routine if you go to the gym, like me. But use our affiliate link in our bio wherever you get your podcasts. Show the channel some love. And like I said, that's it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out our other podcasts, The Lockdown, our NASCAR podcast, our baseball podcast, the Dirt and Turf podcast, our hockey podcast, Biscuits and Penalties. We also have our football and college football podcast coming up, The Hard Count, and Passing the Pigskin coming up as well. Once again, thank you, everyone, for listening. And on behalf of Jamie, Ricky, and Kat, ring that bell. Ding, ding, ding.